Oh, you all, hello, it is Tease. Good day, good afternoon, good evening. I hope all are well, hope all are safe. I'm gonna try to spit this video out in one breath. But I'm actually hearing a lot of criticism and kickback from the Negro community about criticizing the Hidden History Museum. And honestly, though, from the outside looking in, it was kind of like, wasn't what you would expect. You know how in regular museums you'll probably see statues or things in a box. Like, oh, okay, hey, um, this is a an item from 2 or 3 thousand years ago, or this is the last Mohegan, or this is the hat that the first president wore. You know, it'll be something where it's like it's so um like so valuable and so like, oh my goodness, where you literally have to put it behind a box and have security and literally have it set up like that. And I'm thinking that's what we were expecting. But honestly, when you're thinking, when you do black business, you're not going to get the full throttle unless you're either working with a lot of money or you have a lot of connects. And honestly, I gave him the benefit of a doubt because it was mainly just pictures. Because it's like, oh, okay, well, you'll see the picture here and see a picture there, and you'll think like, oh, okay, well, this is something that I could have looked up. And I'm thinking with us, we're not seeing the message. We're looking for materialistic thing, like, oh, okay, hey, that should be Michael Jackson's glove up there instead of a picture of Michael Jackson, or that should be the corpse of this. You know what I mean? Like, if they're expected to see things that are really so valuable, but really, could you really have anything that's valuable or that's that um prestige and high worth in a quote unquote Negro neighborhood, and the black are around Negroes anyway? 'Cause let's say he had a pot of gold. Okay, this is the first pot of gold that niggas owned ever. Do you really think that's gonna stay in one spot around a bunch of niggas? You know, so it's kind of like, I like the setup. I like that everything. It was short and sweet. It was mainly pictures, but at the same time, I like that there's room for growth. So it's like, okay, you have your hip hop section, even though the LA side of hip hop, that's not all of hip hop, but it's room to grow. That can be a start, or that's a part of it, you know. Or if you have your freedom fighters, that's only some of them. You can add or subtract to it. Your black inventors, you can add to that. Okay, yeah, they might have only been like, maybe we'll say 10 inventors, but what we can do is we can add to that. So we can say, hey, this is the first black inventor from America that we can think of, or that we found, or that there's record of, up until the ones that we actually do know about. And the reason why I say there's room for improvement, or there's room to grow, that's why I didn't have a problem with the museum. I actually liked it because it gives you room to grow. Because you might feel like, oh, well, he didn't mention this person, or he left out Harriet Tubman, or he didn't do this, or where's Tupac? But I'm thinking, like, with this particular museum, there's room to grow, because as far as the hidden history, the science behind it is, you need to leave room for those who were buried and basically was, like, okay, I'm gonna steal from you, and then you're buried. I always say, if you want to know who you are, or know who's the original people, you start digging up some of these cities. Dig up Vegas, you dig up Peoria, Illinois, you dig up these cities and these hills and these mountains, quote unquote, you're gonna find a lot of original people under these cities. So I say I like the museum because it leaves us room for error, because it's like, okay, yeah, we have the music side of the culture, but it's like, what about the part that was buried? You know what I'm saying? It's called hidden history for a reason. You might think like, well, I could have looked this up, but you have to leave that window open for the inventions and for the people who were buried. You know, like, you wouldn't know that I invented this or that because I got buried before it was stolen. It was stolen from me, then I got buried. Again, like I said, if you want to know who are the original people, dig up these damn cities. And I know for sure Vegas is one, and Peoria, Illinois is my hometown, because they said there's like ancient Kemetic writings in a cave in Peoria, Illinois. And I've never known of Peoria, Illinois to be ancient, but there is a lot of hills and eeriness, and a lot of shut down and blanked out cities. Like, you could tell, like, the city used to be popping. Like, literally, you got these buildings from the 1800s that are still standing strong, but there's nobody over there. It's just like they just sucked the life out of the city. And it's a lot of hills, and but they said that's a burial ground of the original people. So a lot of the people, before they got rid of the city, or before they remixed it, they got rid of those original people, and now they're buried under these cities, and which explains why everything is crazy. That's why I say I like that there's room for error, or there's room to grow, because we're leaving room for the buried, so to speak. For instance, Lake Lanier. Only thing people know, that's a whole city underwater, and to the point where Anybody goes over there, you might just come up short because there's so much unfinished business there due to the buried people and the buried culture. You see what I'm saying? So, and like I said, there's a lot of Negroes that got something to say. Like I've probably seen maybe 10 videos already of people putting their 2 cents in on it. But it's like, what is your? And I want to, I want to talk without saying the N word, but it's like it makes me mad because you will get these nappy headed mugs. They'll have a whole bunch to say to you, like, okay, well you didn't bring it or you didn't have chitlins at the party. But it's like, what are you doing? One guy said, well, I got my family got 5 pharmacies. First of all, we don't need no fucking pharmacies. I don't need drugs, Percocet, none of that. Even if it is for high blood pressure, how's that helping me? Having access to a pharmacy that's probably overpriced anyway, because you know niggas got higher prices too. That's not even, you're not helping out the community by having some damn pharmacies. That's just in New York. Okay, I need a pharmacy, but you in New York. You ain't helping me. So this guy really thought he was doing the walking criticize because our family owns pharmacies. Okay, niggas collectively, we don't need no damn pharmacy. So that alone, you could just keep your pharmacy and you can overdose on those pills. But anyway, yeah, we got a lot of niggas got a whole lot to say about who didn't do it or this wasn't what we were expecting. But I was like, you have nothing to say when you get literally these Arabs, Indians, and these Chinese mugs that come over here and get rich overnight just selling wigs and nail, and you have nothing to say. And they'll say, hey, for you $50. They'll charge you $50 for a t-shirt and then charge the next person $10 that don't look like you. And you have nothing to say about it. And in fact, you'll be back the next day as long as they're a half off sale. The same way they did with those wigs. They was beating the hell out of black women and beating you with brooms and beating the shit out of you over these wigs and nails. And the second they say, okay, niggas, we're going to give you half off on the nails or half off on the wigs. And here y'all niggas are flooding the lines. Nobody had anything to say about that. And the ones who did have something to say about it, they got shut down because they pretty much was like, yeah, don't be talking about, the people got mad about niggas standing up for them for saying, hey, why are y'all supporting people who's beating the shit out of you while taking your money? And the niggas didn't like that. So it's kind of like, I would really appreciate it if y'all can keep keep the criticism down. Because it's kind of like, and even if it is about him stealing, even with Dr. Umar and Tariq Nasheed, they say that they're scamming or whatever the case may be. But it's like, they're still doing something that you're not doing. At least Umar is talking about a school. It might have been going on for 15 years now, and maybe he is lying, which is perfectly fine. But it's like, at least he's actually doing it. I have yet to know, and mind you, for him to even be having this going on for 15 years, there's still not a nigger school out there. Nobody else is taking the wheel. Nobody else has said, okay, well, since you're lying or since you're playing around, let me open a school and show you how it's done. Nobody's done that. Not a celebrity and not the biggest nigga that got something to say about it. You find your nigger with the most to say about Dr. Umar and his school, and they don't even have so much as the notebook paper ready, or even the pencil sharpener ready. So if y'all can please shut the F up. Because even with Tariq Nasheed, like, oh, you raised all that money for $1 million, millions of dollars for a museum, and you got everything printed off of Google, but it's kind of like, again, where's your museum? How are you adding to this man's museum? And at least he actually pieced it together. It still was nice. Like I said, I would have definitely minimized the niggers, that's for sure. I wouldn't have had I would not have had more than 10 niggas that day. That's all I know, because it just seemed about a bunch of, it's some one thing to have a bunch of niggas, but a bunch of strange niggas too. Like, to me, I was just because it's like, you're going to have somebody that's bound to be an agent, just like, and that's another thing too. There was a lot of agents there, which probably explain why the toilet got clogged, and which might explains why everybody got something to say about it the next day. Because that means most of the people who came, they just came to see where you're going to bring it and what was going on, what was going to be there, and just to have something for them to talk about. So like I say, they don't come out to help you or to say, hey, because like with me, my only criticism that I had was just next time, just hold the niggers. But other than that, like, I wouldn't say what he should or shouldn't have did. Like I say, I just like that it is simple, but like I say, that leaves room to grow. Yeah, it might only have, we'll say with the Freedom Fighters, the Freedom Fighter section maybe only had 10 people, which it probably was more, but I'm just saying, for example. And then with those 10 people, you can add to that. Okay, well, before this person came this person, or after that came this. And then you could have the Freedom Fighter from start to finish. This is the first Freedom Fighter on paper up until now. Oh, now this is our new Freedom Fighter. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like. I like that it's room to grow. It doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be there, because all of our culture is not going to be there. Like I say, you have to consider the buried culture. What about the stuff that you don't and won't know because it was buried? You're not going to know all of the black inventors, because most of them were killed before they can even get patents. And half the time, you couldn't get patents whether you had it or not. Because it's like, my point is to steal your inventions and bury you, and then I'm going to wear your inventions, so to speak. Like I say, you make it, I put my name on it. That's how it works with the patents, and that's how it worked. Um, with black inventors. Yeah, you can be, and mind you, there was a lot of black inventors back in the day because it's like, okay, well, since I'm out here doing all the work, let me make my work a little bit easier. For instance, with the cotton gin, I'm gonna be over here picking cotton. At least let me get something to comb the seeds out, called the cotton gin. But you notice how some pink man is wearing that title. And again, like, what would a pink man want with a cotton gin? Well, you have no business picking cotton nor cleaning it. Why would you be intrigued with the nigger's fingers? You see what I'm saying? Why would you want them? Damn, I don't want your fingers to get all bloody. And let me create a cotton gin for you that I would never be using personally. You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense. So I like that the museum was short and sweet because it's room to grow. It leaves room to grow. Like I say, you have your hip hop section. That doesn't explain all of hip hop. Because what about the hip hop from the 1930s? You see what I'm saying? I like that it just shows you that I think it was kind of modernized too. Okay, that we know this person, but yeah, let's take it. Let's let these throwback hip hoppers take it back, and we're gonna take it back to the 1930s where they had the original hip hop. You see what I'm saying? That's all we had to do is expand. That's it. Do our research on how to expand and how to make it grow. I personally like the museum. Maybe we can digitalize it. Maybe like have it to where you make a movie out of all. Okay, this is the movie or this is a timeline of the freedom fighters. Like I said, the first one documented up until present. Oh, okay, this is our newest freedom fighter, 2023. From the first freedom fighter from back in the past. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, be well, be safe, and like I say, I just don't appreciate the criticism coming from the nigger department, because it's like for the niggas to come out in the droves and all they did was pretty much eat up the food and tear up toilets and shit. It's like, but yeah, you got so much to say. I didn't see anybody really do much to make a difference, Yeah, so that's why I'm very cautious with Negroes, because you just never know who's coming out to support or who's coming out to criticize. Everybody got a lot of criticism, but then there's no pointers. How can I improve? Make a video on that.